Dogs don't express emotional pain the way humans do. They don't complain, explain, or ask for help. Instead, emotional distress shows itself through quiet changes in behavior, changes that are easy to miss if you don't know what you're looking for. A dog that is emotionally unwell may still eat, walk, and obey commands, yet something inside them feels off. Their joy fades, their energy shifts, and their behavior subtly changes. These signs are not random. They are signals. In this video, we'll explore the clearest behavioral signs that indicate your dog may be struggling emotionally. Not myths, not exaggerations, but real, observable behaviors that deserve attention. 1. They lose interest in things they once enjoyed. One of the earliest and most telling signs that a dog is emotionally struggling is a noticeable loss of interest in activities that used to bring them joy. This change often happens gradually, making it easy to overlook at first. A dog that once rushed to the door for walks, eagerly grabbed toys, or reacted with excitement to familiar routines may suddenly seem indifferent. This shift is not about laziness or aging alone. Emotional distress can drain a dog's motivation in the same way it affects humans. You might notice that they no longer initiate play, ignore toys that once mattered to them, or seem disengaged during activities they previously loved. In many cases, the dog is not refusing enjoyment. They simply no longer feel it. Their emotional state dulls their curiosity and enthusiasm, leaving them present in body but absent in spirit. When joy disappears without a clear physical cause, it is often a sign that something deeper is affecting their emotional well-being. A consistent loss of interest is not a phase to dismiss. It's a quiet signal that your dog's inner world has changed and needs attention. 2. They withdraw and seek isolation more often. A dog that is emotionally unwell often begins to pull away in subtle but consistent ways. Instead of choosing shared spaces or staying near you, they may retreat to quiet corners, separate rooms, or isolated spots where they can be alone. This withdrawal is not about independence. It is about emotional overload. Dogs that are struggling emotionally may find interaction draining rather than comforting. Sounds, movement, or social contact that once felt normal can become overwhelming. By isolating themselves, they are trying to regain a sense of control and calm. You may notice behaviors such as choosing to lie alone rather than near family members, leaving the room when activity increases, avoiding interaction without signs of fear or aggression. This type of withdrawal often goes unnoticed because it doesn't create problems. It creates silence. But emotional distress often hides in silence. A dog that consistently chooses isolation is not simply resting. They may be signaling that they feel disconnected or emotionally depleted. Recognizing this shift early allows you to respond with patience rather than pressure, giving your dog the space and support they need to recover emotionally. 3. They become unusually irritable or overly sensitive. When a dog is emotionally struggling, their tolerance level often drops. Small things that once didn't bother them, light touch, routine handling, familiar sounds, may suddenly trigger irritation or discomfort. This change can appear subtle at first, but over time it becomes more noticeable. You may observe behaviors such as stiffening when touched, pulling away unexpectedly, or reacting sharply to minor disruptions. These reactions are not signs of aggression or dominance. They are emotional responses from a dog whose internal balance is off. Emotional distress can heighten a dog's sensitivity, making them feel constantly on edge. When this happens, their nervous system stays in a state of alert, even in safe environments. As a result, they may react defensively to situations that previously felt neutral. This increased irritability is often misunderstood as behavioral decline, but it is more accurately a sign of emotional strain. A dog that becomes easily overwhelmed is not being difficult. They are struggling to regulate how they feel. Noticing these changes early can prevent further emotional deterioration and help you respond with empathy rather than correction. 4. They seek constant reassurance or become unusually clingy. Emotional distress doesn't always push dogs away. Sometimes it pulls them closer. A dog that is emotionally unwell may begin to seek reassurance excessively, staying close to you at all times and showing distress when you move away. This sudden clinginess is often overlooked because it appears affectionate on the surface. However, this behavior is driven by insecurity rather than comfort. The dog is using proximity as a way to regulate anxiety, not simply to enjoy companionship. You may notice them following you constantly, reacting strongly when you leave the room, or becoming unsettled even during brief separations. This shift often includes difficulty settling when you are not nearby, increased vocalization or restlessness when alone, heightened attention-seeking behaviors without clear triggers. A dog seeking constant reassurance is not demanding attention. They are searching for emotional stability. Their inner sense of safety feels compromised, and your presence becomes the only thing that grounds them. Understanding this difference is crucial. Responding with calm consistency rather than frustration helps restore emotional balance and prevents dependency from deepening into anxiety. 5. They show changes in sleeping and daily rhythms. When a dog is emotionally unwell, their internal rhythm often shifts. Sleep becomes lighter, more restless, or unusually prolonged. These changes are not random and should not be dismissed as simple tiredness or habit changes. You may notice patterns such as sleeping much more than usual, yet still appearing low in energy, struggling to settle, frequently changing sleeping spots, being awake and alert at unusual times, losing interest in established daily routines. Emotional distress disrupts a dog's ability to fully relax. Even when their body rests, their mind may remain unsettled. This creates a cycle where poor emotional regulation leads to poor rest, which in turn deepens emotional imbalance. Dogs thrive on predictable rhythms. When those rhythms break without a clear physical cause, it often reflects an emotional issue beneath the surface. Changes in sleep and routine are among the quietest signals, but also among the most reliable. Recognizing these shifts early allows you to address emotional health before it manifests as more serious behavioral or physical problems. Emotional distress in dogs rarely appears all at once. It builds quietly, through subtle changes in behavior, energy, and connection. These signs are easy to miss because a dog can still function, still eat, walk, and obey, while struggling internally. Recognizing these signals is not about labeling your dog as problematic. It's about understanding that emotional health matters just as much as physical health. When dogs feel emotionally supported, their behavior often improves naturally without force or correction. The most important response is consistency, patience, and presence. Small adjustments in routine, communication, and emotional awareness can make a powerful difference. When a dog feels seen and understood, emotional balance begins to return. At Barkpedia, we believe that learning to read emotional signals is one of the most meaningful ways to strengthen the bond between humans and dogs. Understanding their inner world allows us to care for them in the way they truly need.